G'day everyone, so today's video is a little bit different to what I normally do, and that is I'm doing a vlog of how I made Christine's Star Princess dress from Phantom of the Opera's masquerade scene, the stage version. Oh, that's a mouthful. So this video is going to be me walking through the process of how I put it all together. It is a bit of a long one, so if that's not your thing, that's fine. Skip to the next video. So a little bit of background. The reason why I created this was because of my work Christmas party. I have a normal 9-to-5 job like most people, and every year I have the opportunity to blend my cosplay love and my work love together. One of the things that I really like to take the opportunity for with the Christmas party is to actually do what I call a scrap epic type of cosplay. So that's where I use pretty much only things that I have in my stash. So for this costume I actually bought only I think about 5 items. So that's pretty good. So I kept my cost pretty low. And this year's theme for the work Christmas do was masquerade. So that's why I thought, Phantom of the Opera, let's do that one. Just a little bit of a note, it was kind of very frustrating, but I only realised after I tried to put all the video onto my computer, which was a nightmare, the audio didn't come across. So what you'll be hearing is a bit of a voiceover of what I am repeating from the time that I was recording the footage, which plays fine on my camera, just not on my computer for some reason. Anyway, enjoy!
Okay, so I've started out by printing out my reference images, and this is the main one that I'm going to be using. What I really like about it is that it's on-stage shots of the costume, so it's really clear what's going on, and you can see like the stars and the beads and the ruffles, so I like that. Speaking of beads, there is a lot of them. I didn't realise how many beads there were until I started researching this. Like, look at this. This is ridiculous. That's going to take a lot of work, and I'm not excited about it. But yeah, I thought it was silver sequins. Wrong. So this is the pattern that I'm using. There's a few changes that need to occur, so I need to drop the waist, but also like you can see that she's got this strap, and there's also like the ruffle that goes around as well. But overall it's not too bad. This also has its own petticoat pattern, but I think I'm gonna work out my own thing to do there. And here is my fabric! Yay! From the stash! Use the stash! So I've got my tulle, my baby satin, and my chiffon, and the chiffon actually has a bit of an ombre dye to it, so that's pretty cool. I do need to actually increase the ombre dye, I think, because there's purple at the top, but we'll get to that. So I've gone ahead and I've started with the mock-up. So I've extended past the waist, and what I've done is hang on, there we go. So I've extended past the waist, as you can see, just because it needs to be a lot longer. I've probably made it too long, but I figure I can take it off. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so first mock-up is done, and overall it's not terrible. It's workable, but some areas are too loose and some areas are too tight. So like I need to take it in here and down here, but the back I need to add some more room. But overall I'm pretty happy with this. I just need to make some changes, and I'll do that in the second mock-up. So second mock-up is done. I'm just taking it a little bit more in the side and just kind of letting this out slightly. I think I took it in too much. And the back I added some more room, and that's sitting much nicer. Yeah, I'm really feeling pretty positive about this. So what I'm going to do next is add in the scallops, and I think I'm good to go. Okay, so here it is on my dress form. I've marked the center line and the waistline, and what I've done is I've actually put in the scallops here. I've marked them a little bit severe, so I need to like lower it down a bit. We have beading lines, yay! So I did this because I figured it was going to be so much easier at this point than trying to do when it's all sewn together with the real fabric. But yeah, I've got my mock-up all done, so I guess I'm going to cut to cutting out the real fabric. all my pattern pieces have been cut out. So this one I am going to be using as a base for the chiffon, so I need to cut that out next. So the other baby satin and the canvas, I will be using that as my lining fabric, where I'm going to insert the boning channels as well. So yeah, let's do that. So last night I managed to sew together the lining baby satin piece and also the canvas. So today what I'll be doing is I'll be essentially sewing it together and adding the boning channels, so then I can create a stable base for it. Okay, it is not the prettiest thing I have ever made. I mean, what's going on here? I have absolutely no idea what happened there. But the front and the side are spiral steel and the back is flat steel because I actually ran out of spiral steel. But hey, it will make a good base, so that's okay. But I'm a little bit upset because, like, I'm so annoyed at myself with this part here. It should have extended down further, but live and learn, right? So update, what I'm doing here is I'm pinning the satin onto the chiffon to get that gradient dye effect happening throughout the bodice. So the next thing I get to do is I get to play with dye. So that's going to kind of go up here and I will be, you know, after I sew it, I'll be dyeing the top half of the bodice. So that will be fun. What could possibly go wrong? Alright, this is annoying me. Cut it all out, and then what do I find? A black dot. Not in the seams, and not something I can cover with beads. So that's great. I'm going to have to recut that. Look at it! It makes me so happy. I was stressing out about this so much to try and get the gradient dyes to match up with the waist and everything like that, and it worked, so I'm really thrilled. So the next step will be for me sewing this together. Alright, so I've managed to sew it together and I'm pretty happy with it, except I realised that I sewed it the wrong way around. Like, the dye is actually more stronger on the other side of the fabric. But, oh well, it still has the ombre effect, it's still gonna work, and once I get the purple on it, it's going to be fine. Now I've also got these scraps of fabric that I'm going to use for the ruffles on the top, and I'm going to dye the light pink one the darker purpley colour, and I'm going to keep this dark pink one the colour that it is. So I'm feeling like a bit of an idiot at the moment because I forgot basic colour theory. Purple on pink leads to pink. It didn't work, so I had to go and buy blue dye, and that seemed to work. I did a bit of a test and I tried different times with some scraps of the dark pink material, and I ended up finding that the longer I could put it in, the better the result. Speaking of results, here it is, and I am really happy with it. It's got the ombre effect, which is what I'm after, which is great. And yeah, I also grabbed the dark pink scraps that I had and I dyed that in and I got this colour. It's a little bit more blue, but I think when it's in the ruffle, it's going to work and it's going to look really, really good. I have the ruffle strips cut and hemmed and sewn together. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some bling. So I've got these dark pink bling for the pink, and I also have some white iridescent kind of ones for the blue. So I'm going to get those on and then I'm going to get to ruffling them. So ruffle one is done. I really liked how it turned out, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other two now. So a little bit of an update. I finished off the ruffle and I've secured it with a ribbon and whip stitched that into place. It's got a lot of sparkle to it, and I have also started marking out the beading channels for the bodice. So now I just have these two panels to do, so I'll cut to me doing that. I have started on the beading. Oh my god, this is taking me forever, but it is going to be worth it. I have to keep my eye on the prize, but the guides are really, really helping. I am about halfway through with this beading. This is taking so much longer than I ever anticipated, but look at that shine. It is going to be worth it. I just need to tell myself it's going to be worth it. So most of the beading is done. It's looking like a thing, but when I turn it around, oh, that back is terrible. I re-sewed this in twice because I had to take it in. I made it too big. I'm such an idiot. And I also have to bead the bottom here. But yeah, this is basically getting done. I also have these stars, so I'm going to use 3 of these stars and actually put them just along the top here. And then there's the ruffle as well. I'm working on the back. The bottom has been beaded, so now it's just the top. So I've kind of marked out roughly where I want them to meet. I'm going to do it as an arch rather than a point, just so that it hides it a little bit better, that it doesn't quite match up. Oh well, the wig's covering it. So the bodice is done. I'm really happy with it, to be honest. I have sewn on these stars with a little ruffle around them, and I've got these beads done, which are they're so cute. And of course I've got the ruffle all on there now, and yeah, it sparkles and I feel like a star princess, so winning. I've got the petticoat base together, so now I'm going to work on the overskirt. Ta-da! I have the overskirt together. It is a layer of chiffon that I used in the bodice with a layer of sparkle dot glitter tulle on the top. It's not quite as full as what I had intended it to be. I'm going to sleep on it and then decide if I need to amend that. Okay, so it's the next day and I slept on it and I just decided that I was not happy with the volume of the skirt after all. So I unpicked the entire skirt, or at least the overlays of the skirt. I added another 1 1/4 meters of the chiffon and glitter tulle, and then re-sewed it on, and in my heart I am much happier with the result. On to the stars. So I am going to use this ribbon that I had in my stash that is going to be used for the base. I've also decided that I am going to bead in between the stars. So I'm pulling out the beads that I have left over from the bodice and I am going to bead them. Probably just with the pink, but I might add some other colours into it. Okay, so I've finished most of the beading and I decided to pin it all onto the mannequin. And I just want to see how far up I kind of have to bead from the top star. I ended up actually doing some pink and some blue, so it actually matches in line with the bodice. So now it's just to decide, you know, how far up I go. So I think I'm going to go about just over halfway. Beading is done. So I have now pinned the stars onto the skirt, and the next part will be to sew the stars onto the skirt so they don't flip over. And the dress is done! Yay! So it is all sewn together. I am no longer naked for the party, which is great. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's very, very sparkly, which is nice. So I'm going to move on to the wig, mask, and headpiece next. So here are the materials that I'm thinking I might use for the mask and the headpiece. With the mask, it's pretty straightforward. I've got this little mask here, which is like a domino mask, and I am going to then use the wire and the stars to create kind of like a little halo just over the top, and then the sticks so that I can have something to hold. For the headpiece, I'm not so confident about what I'm going to do there. Or how I'm going to create it. I'm going to try and start with the moon. I've got an idea of how I'm going to give that a go with the foam, and we'll see how that turns out. I have the mask together. So it's all primed in white paint. It's relatively simple, but I think that's going to work well with the dress. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint it up in the silver paint. The mask has been painted up in silver, and I have it with the silver glitter paint on the stars. Really happy with how that turned out. I think it looks really very simple, but just enough to kind of go with the rest of the costume. So happy with that result. Not happy with this, however. This is meant to be my moon for the headpiece. My idea did not work. This looks like a lump of poop. So I am going to take two on this and try to create the moon out of foam clay. This will be the first time that I've used this, but I have been saving it for a special project, so now is the time. And I realised I never showed you my wig. So this is my wig that I got off AliExpress for like 16 bucks. It's pretty decent, but the front hairline is really severe. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it and I'm going to recurl it just to give the little curl fringe that Christine has. I've sectioned off some of the strands of hair, brought them forward, and then I cut them. And now what I've done is I have put them in rollers and I have heat set them with some boiling water. So I'm just waiting for that to dry and then we'll see what the results are, probably tomorrow. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I've taken out the rollers and I'm really happy with the result. So now all that's left is for me to sew in some toupee clips just on the side just to help secure the wig onto my head when it goes on. But then the wig side of things is alright and done, so now it's just the headpiece. Guys, I am in love with foam clay. This has been so easy to work with. It took maybe 3 minutes for me to shape this. It's amazing. I'm getting more of this stuff. We've just jumped into the future here and I forgot to film my progress, but you kind of get it. I primed the moon and I've painted the stars and the moon in silver and then covered them with glitter paint. So I'm just waiting for that to dry and then I will attach it to a comb so I can put it into the wig. Da 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 da! The wig is complete. Look at that headpiece. It is absolutely ridiculous. I love it. Really looking forward to wearing this. It's a little bit funny. So yeah, and I've got a few days to spare, so that's awesome.
So that's how I made Christine. The end result was something that I was really happy with. I got a lot of compliments throughout the night and I really did feel like a star princess. So yay. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have any comments, please leave them below. If you'd like to see more of this, please let me know as well. I enjoyed doing this, but I want to know if you enjoyed watching it, because I might do some more of these in the future if you do. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you later. Bye!